You don't often hear me say this. Believe me when I say you must grow this. Hello and welcome back to the No Dig Norfolk Gardener. Did you guess what it was? It was in fact shallots. Most of us grow our shallots from sets. You plant the set and it splits into 6, 7, 8 shallots. And don't get me wrong, they make great value. You know, from one bulb you get 8 or 9 nice shallots. But you think about those shallots that you've got and then look at these. You don't very often see seed for shallot. We attempted to grow these 2 years ago. That was a bit of a disaster because the seed we were sent, absolutely nothing germinated. Last season, we actually grew these shallots. We did about 15 of them. And boy, are they amazing. The taste is just out of this world. The variety is in fact Zebrune, and it's an heirloom variety of French origin. And they produce long shallots known as banana shallots. And they have an extremely good resistance to bolting. You can see of all of these, not one has actually risen to make a flower stalk. In fact, it's something that I notice on most alliums that we grow from seed. We go back 10 years or more, just like the shallots, we used to use sets for onions. We had a bit of a disastrous time with that. We seem to have managed to introduce onion white rot into plot 3, which means we can't grow onions there. Ever since that day, I said to Mrs. W, no more. We are going to grow everything from seed, so I know exactly where all of our seedlings come from and how they've been grown. So growing things from seed, to my mind anyway, I see less bolting of the allium family. Now if I take this one here, see that it's a brown shallot, but it is also tinged with pink. If you think of all of those smaller shallots that you get from growing from sets, you actually put the 6 or 7 that you get together, they're probably the same size as this.
Weight-wise, yes, yeah.
In fact, I would argue that if you put your 6 or 7 shallots together, there's even more from this one bulb than you would get from your 6 or 7 shallots. Whether you grow your shallots from seed or bulbs, one thing that is undeniable is that they store really, really well. I find they store even longer than onions. I deliberately kept one of our Zebrune shallots back from last year's harvest, and that was still good to eat. Beginning of May, wasn't it, Mrs. W?
Yeah, which is when we did eat it, I think.
It's when we did eat it, you're right. So yeah, they have really good storage potential. The great thing about the shallots is they're really easy to grow. It is their time to be harvested now. You can see the leaves are starting to go brown and dying off. and they really do produce some fabulous, fabulous shallots. And sometimes people say to me that the roots of alliums actually don't go down very deep into the ground, but look at that one. They actually do. It's only because I'm harvesting these and pulling them out and leaving a lot of the roots behind. But even the smaller ones, they're a really good size shallot. Looky here, Mrs. W. We've actually got
had one split.
a double header. It's split.
That's interesting.
And they don't normally do that. They
No,
normally just
they
grow
don't.
one big bulb, don't
Yeah.
they? Very interesting. And you can see here the lovely pink tinge. You can actually eat these at any time you want from now once you've harvested them. We shall be storing ours, but I've got something rather nice for tea, Mrs. W. And I'm going to have some nice shallots with it.
Lovely. Look at that.
You can see what it looks like once you cut it. And I always find with these that, you know, just half of one, even a quarter of one sometimes is really good. And if I actually cut into this, you can see just how finely this can be chopped. And all of a sudden, we've got a lot of lovely shallot that you can enjoy. It's great fried with a bit of butter and some pepper, but equally, it's really lovely to have in your summer salads. A bit milder than an onion, and also sweeter. So you can see, although they're quite large bulbs, they actually do chop up really quite lovely and finely. Now, just like all alliums, if you want to be able to store them, then you need to cure them. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing with these now. And in about 2 or 3 weeks' time, they'll be looking like this. Paper skins. This has got a bit longer to go. You can see it's still got one green. You can see the necks are going now. So that means that we're getting all of the moisture out of that. You need to do that for each and every one of your onions. The garlic now is finished. You can see there's no more green left on the leaves. And the skins are all papery. Neck is done with. So now all we need to do is to cut this, take the majority of the root ball off, and they can then go into storage down in the house. I'm sure you'll agree with me that the shallot really is the royalty of the allium family. Not only does it have the onion taste, but it's also sweet too, and goes so well with many of the dishes that we cook. And once you've actually tasted a shallot that you've grown fresh from your plot, you will never ever go back to those extremely overpriced and untasteful shallots that you can buy from the shops. Now I shall be doing a how to grow shallot from seed to table. So if you want to be able to grow shallots like that, then do look out for that video. It will come out sometime in the autumn, and it will take you all the way through the stages until you get to where we are today, the joyful day of lovely big harvests. Now myself and Mrs. W have to go and get prepared for an away day tomorrow. I don't know whether there'll be a video this Thursday or Friday this coming week, simply because it's the 5th of August tomorrow, and that's one of the best days ever, isn't it, Mrs. W?
It is. Your birthday.
We're off with the grandchildren. We're going down to London and hopefully have an amazing day or two with them. Whatever you're up to this week, do have a great gardening week.